Hello, welcome back to my channel, Mum and Mrs and Me. Today I'm going to be filming a bake with me session. It's my son Zane's 6th birthday today. Whilst everyone's at school, I thought I'd make some cupcakes. And being the autumnal time of year that it is, I thought I'd do a suitably themed recipe. And so we are making apple crumble cupcakes. Well, we're going to try to. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to show you my little setup. I don't have a lovely huge island where I can lay everything out for you, so bear with me and I'll talk you through each. So I've actually got my laptop out on the counter because the recipe is an online recipe, and instead of printing it out and wasting paper, I just thought actually I could just follow the recipe from there. So the website I'm using is thebakingexplorer.com, and the recipe calls for 2 apples, brown sugar, cinnamon, mixed spice, self-raising flour, corn flour and plain flour, so all the flours. We need 3 eggs, we need unsalted butter, and I've got stalk as well for the actual cake batter mix. If there's anything else along the way that we are going to need, I'll pop it in the description box below, and I will also link the recipe. The pictures look absolutely divine. I'll just scroll down to those. So those are what we are aiming for. So inside the center is this gooey apple filling, okay? So the type of sort of filling you would get in an actual apple crumble and apple pie. It sits in the middle of these cupcakes. So we're going to give it a go and we're going to see how it goes. Okay, I'm going to get set up and try and show you what I'm doing as I go along, and I'll probably voice over the rest, and I'll obviously show you my end product. I've got my always pan here ready to go because I'm going to start stewing the apples, and that calls for 2 Pink Lady apples, peeled, cored and chopped, with some cinnamon and some light brown soft sugar, and that gets simmered in this pot. So I'll show you that next. That was 30 grams of light brown sugar. We've got a teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of mixed spice. And then you just heat and simmer. We also need 1 teaspoon of cornstarch as well, or corn flour. So I'm going to give that all a stir, a good mix. So it's all nice and covered. Doing this with one hand and holding the pot is a bit difficult. This is a non-stick pan, so everything should begin to cook down and caramelise. It does advise to put a lid on it, so I'm just going to leave that on a gentle heat. So here I've weighed out 10 grams of unsalted butter, 8 grams of light brown soft sugar, and I'm about to put in 17 grams of plain flour to make the crumble that is going to be the topping on top of the cupcakes. So I'm now just rubbing the butter into that mixture. I'm rubbing the butter into that mixture and making the crumble topping. Difficult to film with one hand, so I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. So once your crumbles mixed together, you spread it out onto a baking tray like this. Excuse my doughy fingers. And you get into an oven at 180 for 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, so the crumble's gone into the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. I'll keep an eye on that. The stewed apples look like that. They are nice and soft and caramelized, and you need to leave those to cool. I might actually leave the lid off of those for the time being, because what you want is that once they're ready to be put inside your cupcakes, that they're nice and cool. And that's why you do the apple pie mix and the crumble that goes on top first, so that by the time your cupcakes are ready, everything's all good to go. So now I've lined my cupcake tray with my cupcake cases. For the crumble, the oven's at 180 at the start, and then the oven's going to go down to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so I've had a little bit of a clean up, and now I've got 175 grams of light brown soft sugar and 175 grams of butter, which need to be creamed and smoothed together with a hand whisker or your cake mixer if you've got a stand one. And then we're going to gradually add 3 eggs. So this is the smooth texture once the eggs have been whisked in. We're now going to sieve in 175 grams of flour. So these are your dry ingredients. Be as accurate as possible. And then 1/4 teaspoon of mixed spice and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then just gently mix that in together by hand. And this is what you're left with in terms of your batter mix once all your ingredients have been mixed together. So in here currently I have 175 grams of unsalted softened butter, 350 grams of icing sugar, a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon, and 3 tablespoons of milk, which I'm now gonna cream together to make the buttercream for the cupcakes. Okay, so I'm just using my peeler, which is like this, to core each cupcake. I'm saving the tops there. You can either put them on top or not, or just ice over these, but this is what it looks like, and I'm just going to do the rest.